Hello, I have a surprise for you today. Yes, you can see naked face. Well, I'm Jacqueline, and I have been noticing lately that a lot of the guys in the dating world and married world have been commenting to me that women aren't wearing any makeup, or if they wear makeup, it's so little it looks like they don't really care. So I live in the Pacific Northwest. We're super casual here. And so it might not be your thing. Totally agree with you and understand however you want to be. But if you're hitting that point, I've hit my mid 40s, almost 44. So it's a matter of deciding how do you want to take care of yourself and represent you. So what I have found is that the older we get, the harder it is. I've had a few traumatic moments looking in the mirror with no makeup on, but I thought it would be important to show you that there are little tricks that can help make it an easy, quick process, but also a little bit of TLC for you. So I'm going to show you how I put my makeup on. I'm going to do a very basic version just to give you a little inspiration. Now, yes, I had a 12-year career in a company where I drove a pink Cadillac, so I definitely have some inside scoop on how to do the makeup, and it's exciting and wonderful transformation. Now, I don't believe that you have to wear makeup to be beautiful. I feel very beautiful without makeup, but I also kind of like that we as girls that wear the makeup and guys can have a little pop to their look, a little extra to make the eyes pop out, the cheeks pop out, a little something more, but also it protects your face from the elements. So a little bit of makeup that's done right can be done very well. It can be okay. And I also want you to know that it's just a little extra. When I had my Mary Kay business, I would often say to people that when I saw somebody had put their makeup on, I refer to putting their face on, it was a way of saying, I was worth 5 minutes today. Because unless you've got a professional makeup artist in your home, and you are going to be one of the rest of us that has to take some time. And I know that the moment my feet hit the ground, I am running. I am not stopping. There is no pause. My life gets really busy. And so what I have found is that by taking time to kind of just breathe and relax and enjoy the process of putting on makeup, I've actually enjoyed what the results are. And I feel a little bit more spring in my step. I definitely have days, like yesterday I didn't even put any makeup on, but guess what? I didn't go anywhere except for walks with my dog. So it's not that I don't want people to see me without makeup. It just means that it's kind of my switch to say, don't need to do a whole lot. So what I want to show you for today is a chance to kind of add a little bit of makeup, not all the complicated steps, all the elaborate things. You know, for you that are watching, if you're in your late 30s, early 40s, mid 50s, we're in the same boat. Skin's changing, gravity's kicking in, and it kind of sucks. So what we need to do is just make sure we're taking care of our skin, taking care of ourselves, and showing the rest of the world that we feel we're worth it by doing just a little extra if you believe in makeup. If makeup's not your thing, you look gorgeous anyway, so don't even worry about it. You have other parts that represent you. So find the part of you that you like with this and have some fun with it, and know that I can even be naked face. This is actually a huge thing for me because of all the years that I taught makeup. My daughter always said to me that I couldn't leave the house without my face on. And over the years of not running that business, I was able to tone it down, tone it down, tone it down to now where it's like, I just feel good that I'm taking a little bit of me time. I'm not worried what everybody else thinks. I just like that I'm taking the me time. So I'm excited to put a little extra step in your routine, hoping it helps to inspire you a little extra. Now, you can have like a headband just to pull your hair back. I tend to just pull my hair as I go, but some people really need to, so make sure if you need that, you've got that on hand. Then there's different eye creams that, find the brand that works for you. I've been able to really expand on it, but you need something that is illuminating where under eye area it's not so shadowed. I've got really great things that I found over time that just takes that extra puff out and makes it look like you actually got the full sleep that you wanted. It also helps when you have something that is really for the eyelid. we get older. I'm sorry. My mom had beautiful eyes, and they just kept getting saggier and saggier on the lid, where I'm sure she would have had to have eyelid surgery just to see. And unfortunately, she passed away at age 58. But I don't want to go down that path. I want to make sure I take really good care of my eyes. So, gotta love our parents, but sometimes they can give us some good hints too as to where our skin and aging is going to go. So make sure you have something that's just on the eyelid area that is about saving the makeup from the eyeshadow falling. There was a long time when I just really didn't take that step, and I started noticing how by halfway through the day I really had no eyeshadow. There's just nothing to cling to. So it does make a difference, and I've noticed this with a lot of women lately, that when I see them by midday, there's really nothing there, and it just helps because the eyelid ages so quickly. Remember too, whenever you're doing anything around the eye area, you always use your ring finger. Your ring finger is actually the best because there's only one muscle in there, so it can't tug on that delicate tissue. It just stresses me out how many times I would see people just rub really hard on their eye area and just go back and forth. Losing eyelashes. Yes, our eyelashes are thinning as we get older. I used to have gorgeous eyelashes that were super full and amazing, and they've just gotten thinner. So I have to be very careful to always take off my eye makeup before I go to bed. Did you know that every night you don't take off makeup, you are actually aging your face 7 days? And then you're just kind of rubbing that makeup into your pores, pillowcase, and ew, all that junk and pollution of the day is just getting rubbed into all the wrong places. So taking the time to wash your face before you go to bed is a really big thing. It sure helps to keep the skin good. And, just taking those extra little steps, and I'll get into more skincare steps another time. But I want you to make sure you're taking the basics. Make sure your lips are supple, your under eye area is well hydrated, your eyelid is going to actually hold the eye makeup. So all of that's good, and then you use whatever day solution that you want, something to kind of hold all the makeup. There's different makeup primers that you can use, and I find that it's in my day solution is just fine for me, but sometimes if I'm going to go out for a later night or more activity or lots of temperature changes, I'll make sure I wear my primer. So I'm going to jump into the first step that I do is my concealer, and the thing about concealer is people put on way too much, and they put it all in the wrong places, to tell you the truth. They put it kind of as like a whole one layer, and that's not what this is about. It's about kind of having something that brightens up. It's about taking any little shadows or any little imperfections on your skin that you need a little bit of cover up. And yes, my daughter happily pointed out when we discovered my first age spot. Yes, gotta love teenagers. And it's a matter of taking care of it and noticing what it is that you've got to do to make sure your skin is safe, it's taken care of, and looks good. So I always start out where I go and put like more of a V shape here under the eyes, and that's about allowing for yourself to kind of let that reflective light, because that skin gets so much more delicate. And see how I'm just kind of patting it? And then you go back and forth just enough to not rub it all in, but make sure that it's giving you that lightness. And you can even put a little bit in between the eye area. Now, as you go, you kind of find things like I notice that I'll sometimes get little red spots on my chin. I'll get little red spots on my upper lip. I've waxed it with sometimes too hot of a heat. So I'll put a little concealer in there and a little on my chin. Anywhere that I just kind of find that, oh, I need that. And yes, of course, my lovely little age spot here that my beautiful daughter had to make sure I knew was there. And, and if I've got a blemish or something, I'll do the same thing. But you really want to just kind of find where you're at, what kind of parts that you need it so it's more strategic. And then again, you're not putting on heavy, heavy makeup. Now, when it comes to the next step, it's about foundation. Foundation, as we get older, we need more illuminating stuff. So make sure you've got a foundation that's current with where your skin's at today and where you're at right now. It's really important that you take that extra step to go and get the right matching and changes. Throughout the year, it's different. And sometimes you've got more pigment in your skin tone, you've been out in the sun a lot more, or it's the winter months and you have got a lot less. Some people change a lot, some people don't. I tend to stay the same color all year because I don't go in the sun a lot on my face because I don't want it to age. But it's really you making sure that you just kind of do a checkup, as we say, check up from the neck up. And so you want to go ahead and have, I usually do like about one and a half pumps. I don't like it when the foundation's really heavy. A lot of people put their foundation on way too heavy. So I always kind of start where it's, it's on my face, and you want to look at the way your skin pores are is actually like shingles on a home. So, you fill it into the areas, make sure it gets to the outer edges of your jawline and your hairline, but it is one of the things that you're going to make sure you actually end up kind of rubbing downward after you've spread it out. So it's kind of like if you're putting lotion on. One of the places I always said when I was doing my pink Cadillac business of makeup, I would actually comment because so many people miss the skin between their nose. I was like, oh my gosh, people, you do have skin there. So watch your jawline, and if there's a distinct difference between your face and your neck, that means you have the wrong color. So take the time to do that, and again, go over the concealer under the eye area, and get yourself to where you've got on the hairline. I've noticed a lot of times when I'm seeing people, I'm very observant, they stop, and then their skin tone is so different. So you just kind of thin it out. I started on the cheeks and kind of worked my way up and then back on down so that the layers had a chance to go in the right direction. And as we get older, we get this so lovely wrinkly little part of our face, and it's super annoying. And the lips do get that, so we've got to keep that area very hydrated and very well taken care of. And so by doing that, you can kind of see how it just all sets itself all in place. And then powder is really important. There was a time when people just felt the glow was great, and there's days I just don't even want to worry about it, and I got to do that extra little steps. And so what I'm doing now is just kind of tapping some powder out. Powder is really about being able to just set and rest. It's not something you can keep powdering up your face. You've got to have other tissues to absorb the oils if you need that, but it's just to set the hair follicles going down. It's important that they rest down. They're actually lighter on the top than they are on the bottom, and a lot of people kind of forget to kind of pat down their hair follicles. And if any powder gets on your lashes or your mascara, it's actually just fine because it helps for the products that we're going to put on later to adhere a little better. And I always say kind of put a little down onto the neck and make sure you take good care of your neck, because good old décolleté area, oh, you can tell a woman that was out baking too much when she was younger because her skin on the décolleté is just gets really leathery and yucky. So always keep upward strokes with moisturizers and downward with the foundation. Now, when I start, I like to kind of get my face shape in the right space where I'm feeling really comfortable. And so it's the cheeks is that middle point of the face. It's actually the third, but it's right here where I want to be able to kind of line up where everything else is going to go, because obviously now I've got a smooth, even palette. And so with the cheek color, you want to be coming forward strokes, no more than 2 fingers distance to your nose. And then up here on the temple area, it's just a little bit so it comes up. I keep seeing these lines, and it's driving me crazy. The lines are like cutting the face right in the middle. And so let it kind of soften up as it goes, because it's supposed to look like you just have a little extra sparkle in your cheek, a little more perk in your step. And that's important to do because it gives you that extra little boost to your own energy. And it breaks up the face a little bit. And as the years have gone on, I've also gotten more weight in my face. So the cheeks kind of help focus people upward and also a little bit smoother in the sense of bringing things forward for me. So I just get my little brush all cleared up, and then I focus on going upward strokes and then into the hair a little bit and making sure that my cheek color doesn't come in too far into my face, because I find people do that a lot and it really narrows in their face. So it's just kind of putting just enough to kind of wake up your face and make sure that there's an evenness to it, and allowing yourself the chance to kind of go, oh, okay, oh, I need a little more, oh, here. But just keep it soft where it doesn't just like start a line right there and a line right there. People just noticing this real abrupt spot that they start, and then there's no softening. It's just supposed to be subtle. It's not supposed to be real obvious. I'm trying to show you the soft makeup just to get you to show that you take a little extra step, a little more professional. And when you're on a date, it just kind of helps if you start blushing. You've got a little balance to it too. So then the next part is getting the eyeliner going. So this is something that's really important. I notice a lot of times people don't sharpen their pencil. So just make sure you take the few extra steps each time. Sharpen it. Doesn't have to be crazy sharp. Just depends on how much you're doing. If you're doing different levels of liner, but this is one to kind of balance you out. And this is where you can be able to open up the eyes. There was a time when I was kind of testing to wear no eyeliner, and I just noticed that I felt sleepier. Like if I looked in the mirror, it was kind of a little more sleepy. So this just helps shape in the eyes, helps bring them forward a little bit extra, and makes it so that it's a little bit easier for you when you're doing this, so that you can be in a spot where you're a little more comfortable in how it's going to open up your eyes, but not heavy. We're not looking like you're dressing up for some production show. You just want to have it where it just kind of pops open your eyes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just a little bit of liner right in the corners, and you go about 2/3. It used to be only like 1/3, but you kind of have to pull it in, especially as our eyelashes get thinner. And the idea of eyeliner really is actually just to bring out that little extra kind of connection between your eyelashes, that without having to put on fake eyelashes. I think they're super cool, but they'd be uncomfortable all the time, every day, when you get to always wearing them. If you're not already wearing them, you're just going to do more things to tuck on the lashes, and as we get older, every lash counts. So I have to be really, really careful with that. Now I'm going to pop out my mirror so I can see a little bit better on the eyelid area. But basically, as I look down, it's easier for you guys to see too, is that you're wanting to take from the inner corner and just kind of slowly, little strokes outward, right along the liner of your lid. Because this way, it's just about kind of thickening up the lashes. So I've noticed as I've gotten older that when I tug on it a little bit, it'll kind of skip a step. So sometimes I have to go back in and do a little extra. Like whenever my daughters do my makeup for me, she is awesome at it, but it drives her crazy because my eyes will blink, 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 blink. So, sometimes we're sensitive to what's right next to our eyes, and that's okay. And then you want to just kind of go back and forth until you fill in all those little ridges, because that's the tricky part with what you're doing, is getting enough done for the sake of your eyes actually working. And I have astigmatism in my left eye, so I wear glasses just for the one eye, but it makes doing left eye makeup a little trickier because I'm trying to see and maneuver, and it's just part of the fun of getting older. So I'm going to make this fun. Really, it's not going to be so bad. But then you're going to be able to have some eyeshadow, and again, see, I'm only using a few steps, and I'm not making this over complicated, just giving a little extra perk in the step. Now, you always want to make sure you have like a little washcloth too, just a little something to keep your brushes clean and keep wiping things off in between your shades. Now, this one's been fun because this is a palette with a ton of colors, and I get stuck on one color idea, and I have that forever. And so I just kind of need to tap it and just kind of get, figure out what it is that I want. And I find that I don't need a lot of base because I already have the eyeshadow base. So it's good. Again, I will just do this with my mirror down here so I can see what I'm doing, and because my eyelids will be a little bit lower by my looking down. You just have a soft color that you do to get your lids. I've noticed as I'm getting older that there's more veins in the eyelid that weren't there before. Our skin is just thinning, so we just need to do that little extra. I like to have something that has a little iridescent, a little bit of sparkle to it. It just kind of wakes me up. I love sparkles, but it just wakes me up a little extra when I'm doing this. And then it's a matter of having, I just grabbed a little bit of a darker color just for more pop, but you should be really, really careful when you put on something darker, because then it can also look like you just got punched and you don't want it to look like that. Purple's a really hard one to do too for that, so tend to stay away from purples. This is just a darker brown, and then all I'm going to do is just enough to kind of lightly tap it in to the corner. So can you see that little bit? See how it's just kind of like framing the eyelid and stuff. Knowing what your eye shape is, we'll do different shapes at different times, but this is just a very basic one that pretty much works for everybody. And the Asian eyelid is a little bit different. We kind of have to put this a little more towards the middle. But what this does is it allows you the opportunity to just kind of add a little bit more. It's a little easier to add more than take away. There's times I've tapped this on and I've been like, oh my gosh, that's so much. And then, I know we used to do the V, but it still really works. And it's a light V, so it's kind of on the side. And again, you only go in about 1/3 of the way, because that way it kind of softens it. It's just kind of framing right along with the lashes of your your eyeliner color. And then what's great about this is that you can then take another kind of, even your base color you've already been using, and just kind of run over it a little bit. So you've got that little bit of softening, because it's so important that we just soften the edges. I've just seen a lot of harsh edges by older women that we don't need to do that. We're just trying to kind of create a fun illusion just for us. Make us feel a little bit more awake. So sometimes it'll come out a little too far on the side, and that's where our good old, Q-tips are for. Where we're kind of like, oh my gosh, I've got a little too much. You can go ahead and do that. Now, as I'm looking here, I go, oops, I forgot to grab my eyebrow pencil. But you can actually just, find your darker color and lightly, and it's kind of like just pinching the brush, just pinching the tip, and then adding that little bit of color in there. Most of the time, people are not. See the difference of just my eyebrows, just that little bit of extra color, because I'm noticing my eyebrows are getting blue. And so I'm excited for you guys to put comments below and let me know what you noticed with the aging process and what you want to work on. Because the reality is we're not teeny boppers anymore, and we can't do the same things we used to do. So we just need to take a few extra little steps. See, I have this one little naked spot in my eyebrows that drives me crazy. And so, when you have your eyebrow person who does your waxing, you want to be really good at telling them what happens with your eyebrows and how you are with that, so that they don't overpluck them and, keep taking them out, tweeze them away, or overwax them. And then after we've got the basics of all of these pieces together, we have to jump in and do a little mascara. Mascara is really important, and it just depends where you are on your own comfort level of mascara. I think that there's lots of great brands out there. It's worth testing them out, trying them out. Most companies are really good at giving you full return, so you can be really good with that too. So just popping my little mirror open again. Of course, it closed on me there. And with mascara, I'm going to do the same thing with my mirror below so that you can see how my eyelids go. And when you're doing your lashes, you want to kind of go back and forth, a little shake, shake, shake. And then the top ones, you go front and back. I learned this trick later on in my makeup career because I noticed that they weren't filling in as much as they were getting thinner. So by going front and back, I could get a much better feel. And if they get clumpy, you just kind of pinch them and then lift your finger and then take off that extra without pulling on it, because that's so not a good idea. We really got to be careful with that. So I start off with just going back and forth. You see how I'm kind of just brushing upward and outward. And it helps to really find the right kind of brand that has the good bristles. And as hopefully you know, you've got to constantly change your mascara because it's building up bacteria in there. It's a moist, dark environment. And that's where a lot of people get eye infections. That's why I always say never share your mascara with somebody else. And then the down ones, I go just enough to get color. You don't want them long. You don't want them to look like you have a spider web coming out of your face. You just want enough to kind of, and not get in your hair like I just did, but you want to have it so that you have enough color so that you know it's there. So then I'm going to go back. I did the first layer and let it dry for a second. Then I'm going on the other side so that it has that balance. But you don't want to do it too soon because you're drying your lids. Now, see, I got a little bit of mascara here. You always want to rub back up so you're not rubbing in. This has always been a huge thing I've tried to teach people, that they tend to rub in. Even like when you get something on your clothing, you rub it up. Like if you drop a bunch of powder on your shirt, rub it up and you'll be able to, rub it pretty much back out. It doesn't need to rub in. So same thing with our lovely skin tissue. And you go and do the other eyelid and going back and forth. And so then you go again the bottom. And then going the back and forth again. And so sometimes you have to kind of roll the brush. Now I'm showing you kind of a way to get a lot on there, just to show you how you can fix the mess up. So it's easy to get too much on there, and then all I do is just clump it. So got a whole bunch of my fingers, wipe it on the washcloth, and do it again so that I don't have too much on there. And then a little on the tip back to the one that was bugging me. So see the difference? It just kind of opens up my eyes. It just gives me that little extra spring in my look. And then we wrap this all up with a little bit of lipstick. Now, I already have a little bit of lip gloss on. I just grabbed a color. It's not even my best color. But as we get older, the pigment in our lips kind of fades away. So you just kind of want to go side to side on the bottom, and then the top, you want to accentuate your bow. If you don't have a bow, you make sure you have your lip liner. I put lip liner on sometimes I don't. If I have a little concealer that's been on my lips, I don't really need the liner, but if I haven't done that, then I will. So It's really coming up for the one stroke and then the next stroke. That way, you accentuate the bow. I'm noticing a lot of people that go back and forth on the top. That drives me crazy. You need to do the little bit of extra. You've got to make sure that you just accentuate your assets. Accentuate where you are, how you're taking care of yourself, and, make sure you take the time to do what you need to do. And that's why we take a little love time and a cup of tea. Enjoy your beauty. Enjoy what you have to offer. Enjoy who you are. Don't let that get lost. Don't get caught up in the makeup has to be all this perfect. You've got to do so much. You just need a little bit of touch up, a little bit of comfort to your skin. And that's a big part of why my skin has aged well. I'm sure I got good genetics, even though my poor mom's eyelids, I know I worry about getting. But I've taken the time to take care of my skin. I've taken the time to show myself and others that I'm worth it. And so take a little extra step. Let me know what kind of tips you want to know more about. Let me know if this helped you, if there was some extra things you were wondering about that I didn't cover. I just want you to see really basic, handful of items, kind of tuck and roll, get your makeup on, and you just feel a little better. You never know who you're going to meet. And I'm just saying, a lot of the guys are kind of complaining that women aren't. Again, you don't have to just please them, but if you're looking for that love person, you want to make that connection, or you want to show your partner that you really are taking those extra steps and taking care of yourself, there's something about that 5 minutes. It just says, hey, I'm worth it. And I always say to everybody is that everybody is an arm's distance away from you. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you invite them in, they won't care how it looks. So just kind of look at everything, step back from your mirror and go, hey, how do I look? Where am I? And how am I doing? And of course, we must put on a little extra sparkle to wrap it up. And then that makes it perfect. I appreciate you watching. I'm excited to get your feedback. And I hope this gives you a little inspiration to see I didn't cake on a ton of makeup. I didn't do a million crazy steps. I just want the little things for you to know so that when you take those extra 5-10 minutes for yourself, you realize it's worth it for you. It's just a little time out, and it helps people feel like you care about yourself. There's lots of little things we do to send out signals and vibes and messages to the universe that we're on top of this chapter of life. So let's get out there, have some fun, get your flirt on, feel sexy, feel beautiful, and add a little sparkle to your look, okay? Thanks so much for watching, and subscribe below and send me some thumbs up so that I can come out with some more tips knowing what you want. This is your time to shine.